Hey everyone, welcome back to Sip and Talk.
Glad to be here.
Today we're taking a fascinating turn and looking into something we all use, probably every single day. Oil.
Right.
But not, the car kind. The stuff you drizzle on your salad or, fry an egg with.
Exactly. Cooking oils.
We've got a pile of really interesting stuff here, digging into the long, long history of how humans have used oil.
Yeah.
And then
we're going to get into a nutritional face-off, pitting some of the most common cooking oils you probably have in your kitchen right now against each other.
Ooh, a face-off. I like it.
Yeah, our sources go way back, tracing oil use to, prehistoric times, alongside some really detailed nutritional breakdowns of everything from, say, olive oil to that avocado oil that's become so popular lately.
So what's the mission today?
Well, our goal is pretty straightforward. Give you a quick but, thorough understanding of when humans first started using oil, and crucially, which of these liquid treasures might be the real champions for your health and how you cook.
Okay, let's dive into this history then. I was honestly surprised at how far back it goes.
It's pretty amazing.
Apparently, even before anyone was writing stuff down, people were figuring out how to get fat from animals and oil from plants, like sesame and flax.
Uh-huh.
I mean, can you imagine trying to squeeze oil out of those tiny little sesame seeds back then?
Seriously.
Talk about putting in the effort for your dinner.
It's incredible, isn't it? And we actually have archaeological evidence from Mesopotamia from around 6000 BCE.
Wow.
Showing signs of olive and sesame pressing. So this tells us that in these very early civilizations, people understood the value of these oils for more than just food.
Right, like fuel.
Possibly for fuel, yeah, to keep lamps lit, maybe even for taking care of their skin. This early adoption suggests these oils likely played a pretty significant role in their daily lives, maybe even held some symbolic importance.
And it sounds like certain oils became the rock stars pretty early on. Olive oil in the Mediterranean, for instance. Our sources say it goes back to 6000 to 4000 BCE. That's seriously old school.
It really is.
And the Minoan civilization in Crete, using it for practically everything, cooking, their religious ceremonies, even lighting their homes.
Yeah, it was like their all-purpose go-to.
But probably smelled a lot better than some of the stuff we use today.
Exactly. Olive oil was absolutely central to life in the Mediterranean. And it wasn't just the Minoans, the Egyptians, around 3000 BCE, were also using it for cooking and even in the mummification process.
Mummification? Seriously?
Yeah, it really highlights how precious and versatile they considered it. And interestingly, around the same time, but, on the other side of the globe,
Right.
Sesame oil was becoming really important in India and the Middle East. The ancient Harappan civilization in India was cultivating sesame.
It's fascinating how different cultures, so far apart, were independently discovering the value of these plant-based oils.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, wild to think about these different civilizations, thousands of miles apart, figuring out the power of plant oils. And it wasn't just olives and sesame, right?
Not at all.
We saw flaxseed oil popping up in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia.
Sure.
I guess those early folks were unknowingly getting a dose of those good omega-3 fats we hear so much about today.
Precisely. Flaxseed oil was used for food and medicine, so they likely recognized some of its beneficial properties, even if they didn't have our scientific terms.
Makes sense.
It also had practical uses, like treating wood and moisturizing skin. And then there's the really intriguing story of camellia oil.
Camellia oil?
Also known as bitter tea oil, mainly in China. Sources indicate its use as far back as the Western Zhou dynasty. That's over 3,000 years ago.
Wow.
It was even mentioned in ancient poetry, suggesting early use, primarily in southern China, for cooking, and maybe even as a traditional medicine. They believed it had antibacterial properties, could soothe stomachs.
Bitter tea oil. Yeah, that's not something you see every day in your average American supermarket.
No, it isn't.
It makes you wonder about all the traditional foodways and ingredients we might be missing out on. But it's interesting how these oils weren't just for eating. Olive oil was like liquid gold in ancient Greece and Rome.
Right, the liquid gold analogy is perfect.
Used by athletes in cosmetics. And the Roman Empire even had this whole olive oil trade network going on.
A huge network.
It's like they were trading in tiny bottles of health and beauty across their vast territories. This really shows how important it was to their economy and culture.
That's a great way to put it. Oil became deeply woven into the fabric of these ancient societies, influencing everything from cuisine to economy. Sesame oil, for instance. It spread through India and China and became closely associated with Buddhist vegetarian cuisine. It wasn't just cooking fat, it carried real cultural weight.
So how were they even getting this stuff out of the plants back then? I'm picturing some serious old-fashioned elbow grease.
Oh, initially it was very labor-intensive, pressing by hand or using simple stone mills.
Right.
But over time, technology progressed. The Romans developed water-powered presses, which was a big step up in efficiency.
Okay.
And in China, they used wedge pressing techniques. But you're right, the earliest oils were largely, unrefined and cold-pressed.
Okay, fast forward a few centuries through the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. It sounds like oil use started to become more regionalized then.
Yes, exactly. We see distinct regional preferences really taking shape. Olive oil continued its reign in the Mediterranean naturally,
Of course.
while Northern Europe relied more heavily on animal fats. But interestingly, in Central Europe, things like walnut and poppy seed oils began to be used, mainly for lighter stuff like salads and baking.
And that bitter tea oil in China just kept doing its thing in the South,
Still going strong.
becoming a staple for daily cooking and even a go-to in traditional Chinese medicine. And black sesame oil started showing up in stews. And as a flavor enhancer, I've definitely had sesame chicken. It's so good.
Oh, yeah, it has a great flavor.
It's cool to see these culinary traditions building up around specific oils.
Absolutely. And in the Middle East and India, sesame and coconut oil became mainstream around, say, 1000 CE. Coconut oil was favored for high-heat cooking and even, interestingly, for hair care.
Oh, okay.
And the symbolic importance of oils continued, too. Olive oil held special significance in Christianity. Sesame oil played a role in Hindu and Buddhist rituals. These oils were more than just ingredients. They really reflected cultural identity.
Right.
And while much of Europe still depended on human or animal power for pressing, China was actually developing more efficient wooden presses for extracting bitter tea and sesame oil during this time.
Then comes the Industrial Revolution, and I bet the oil landscape changed dramatically, right?
Yeah.
New oils started appearing.
Exactly. That was a major turning point. Sunflower oil, which originally came from the Americas, got introduced to Europe in the 16th century.
Okay.
But it wasn't until the 18th century in Russia that large-scale cultivation and oil extraction really took off. By the 19th century, it became a staple in Eastern Europe, largely because it had a high yield and was pretty cheap.
Makes sense.
Peanut oil also saw commercial extraction in the U.S. and China in the 19th century. It gained popularity in Asia, probably because of its high smoke point, great for stir-frying.
Ah, yeah.
And this whole era of innovation really led to some major shifts in how we produced and used oils.
And this is when technology really advanced, like steam-powered presses and solvent extraction.
Yep.
That must have been a huge leap in terms of how much oil could be produced.
It was absolutely revolutionary. These advancements drastically increased both the quantity and the purity of the oil. Refining processes also emerged, which made oils more stable and easier to ship over long distances.
Right, globalization.
Exactly. The expansion of global trade during the colonial era played a big role, spreading oils like olive, sesame, and coconut oil even further. Even soybean cultivation started in the U.S. in the late 19th century, paving the way for soybean oil to become the major player it is today.
Which leads us pretty much to the 20th century and today. And it feels like the number of oil options has just exploded now. Things like avocado, rice bran, perilla oil.
It really has.
And there's this huge focus now on the health and nutritional aspects of these oils.
Precisely. Avocado oil, for instance, started being commercially produced around the mid-20th century, kind of coinciding with avocados themselves getting popular.
Okay.
Its high smoke point and the fact that it's rich in those beneficial omega-9 fats made it a really attractive, healthy choice. Rice bran oil was developed in Japan around the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and its unique compound called gamma-oryzanol, plus its balanced fatty acid profile, contributed to its appeal, especially in Asian cuisine. And then perilla oil.
Another omega-3 one.
Exactly. As research began to highlight its really high omega-3 content, it gained traction in the late 20th century, particularly in Japan, Korea, and among health-conscious consumers.
And it's all about the fats now, isn't it?
Right.
We hear so much about omega-3s and omega-9s being the good guys.
Uh-huh.
While we're told to maybe take it easy on the omega-6s.
That's a key understanding that's come out of modern nutritional science. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in oils like flaxseed and perilla, And omega-9 fatty acids, abundant in olive, bitter tea, and avocado oil, are generally praised for their anti-inflammatory and cardiovascular benefits.
Right.
Oils high in omega-6 fatty acids, like, say, common sunflower and soybean oil, are now often recommended to be used more in moderation, just to help maintain a healthy balance in the body, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And the technology around oil production hasn't stopped evolving either.
Yeah.
Like refining helps with stability, but then we had the whole trans fat issue with hydrogenation.
A huge issue.
Which led many people to seek out cold-pressed and organic options instead.
Definitely a shift back towards less processed oils.
And the debate around GMO crops has definitely had an impact on the oil market too, right? More consumers looking for non-GMO choices.
Absolutely. That's become a significant factor for many people, and it's really interesting to see this sort of cultural revival happening now in the 21st century. Well, traditional oils like bitter tea, olive, and black sesame are actually regaining popularity in the premium market. It seems driven by both their potential health benefits and their rich cultural heritage.
That's cool. So we've gone from prehistoric people using basic animal fat to this incredible variety of plant-based oils, each with its own unique history and set of properties.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how something so basic has played such a huge role in human history.
It truly does. You can see these clear turning points. The early extraction methods, the diversification of sources in ancient times, the huge impact of the Industrial Revolution, and now the significant influence of modern nutritional science.
Which brings us to today. We've got olive oil as a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, celebrated globally for its health benefits.
Right.
And in Asia, traditional oils like bitter tea, black sesame, and perilla are being increasingly recognized for wellness, often linked to traditional medicine.
Exactly. But it's not just about health anymore, is it? There are also these big economic and environmental considerations.
Like palm oil.
Yeah, the concerns surrounding palm oil production and deforestation are a major example. Environmental sustainability is becoming a huge factor influencing what consumers choose.
So more interest in things like organic bitter tea or avocado oil?
Precisely. Options seen as more sustainable. It's really a complex picture where history, culture, health, and the environment all intersect.
Okay, so we've taken this incredible journey through the history of oil. Really fascinating stuff.
It is.
Now, let's get down to what's really in these bottles today and how they compare nutritionally. Let's get into this oil face-off.
All right, let's do it. So at the heart of oil nutrition are the different types of fatty acids. You've got monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, and saturated fats.
The good, the bad, the complicated.
Kind of, yeah, but it's more about the balance. We also find other beneficial plant compounds, things called polyphenols, which act as powerful antioxidants, and vitamins like vitamin E. Ideally, we aim for a good balance of these fats in our diet. While the specific ideal ratios are complex and debated, it's generally good to have a solid mix of monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, including both omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Getting that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio right is pretty key.
Okay, that's a lot of science. But it makes sense that it's not just about fat being good or bad, but the different kinds of fat that really matter.
Exactly.
And I know when you're actually cooking, the smoke point of an oil is a pretty important thing to keep in mind. You don't want smoke detectors going off.
Definitely not. And it's absolutely crucial for health, too. The smoke point is the temperature at which an oil starts to break down, degrade, and produce potentially harmful compounds.
Right.
So oils with higher smoke points, generally above, say, 400 degrees F or 200 degrees C, are better for high heat cooking, like frying or searing.
Okay.
While oils with lower smoke points, maybe below 320 degrees F or 160 degrees C, are better suited for things like salad dressings or very gentle heating.
And cold-pressed oils?
Generally, cold-pressed oils, because they retain more of their natural compounds, tend to have lower smoke points. They aren't usually the best choice for high heat cooking if you want to preserve those nutrients and avoid breakdown.
Got it. So let's go through some of these common oils we might have. First up, bitter tea oil. You mentioned it's kind of like the Eastern olive oil. What makes it special nutritionally?
Bitter tea oil is indeed quite impressive. It's very high in those monounsaturated omega-9 fatty acids, somewhere between 70 and 82%, very similar to olive oil.
Which are good for the heart, right?
Exactly, known for their heart benefits. It also has good stability, which is a plus, and it's rich in those antioxidant polyphenols and vitamin E.
And the smoke point.
Quite high, actually. Between 450 and 485 degrees ARF, that's about 232 to 252 degrees C. So it's really versatile for all types of cooking, from high-heat stir-frying down to salad dressings.
Nice.
It's been shown to support cardiovascular health and has strong antioxidant activity. The cold-pressed versions are particularly good for lower heat uses if you want to maximize those antioxidants.
Okay, cool. What about our familiar friend olive oil? I feel like almost everyone has a bottle of olive oil somewhere.
Oh, yeah, a kitchen staple.
Yeah.
Especially extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO. It's also primarily a monounsaturated omega-9 fat.
Like bitter tea oil.
Yep. But it also contains some polyunsaturated omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. What really makes it stand out, though, are its high levels of specific olive polyphenols, like oleocanthal and vitamin E.
Okay, and smoke point for olive oil, it varies, right?
It does. Virgin olive oil, especially extra virgin, generally has a smoke point around 320 to 375 degrees hour, so roughly 160, 180 degrees C. Best for dressings, drizzling, maybe light sautéing.
Right.
Refined olive oil, sometimes labeled light olive oil, has a much higher smoke point, up to maybe 465 degrees hour or 240 degrees C, so it can handle medium-high heat better.
Good distinction.
And of course, it's the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, extensively studied for its excellent heart health benefits, its anti-inflammatory properties, and its ability to help lower LDL, the bad cholesterol.
Okay, so maybe I shouldn't be using my good extra virgin olive oil when I'm really cranking up the heat in the pan. Good to know.
Probably best not to, yeah. Save the good stuff for finishing.
How about black sesame oil? I really like that nutty flavor it has.
It does have a great distinct flavor. Black sesame oil is primarily a polyunsaturated omega-6 fat, though it has some monounsaturated omega-9s too. It also contains a unique antioxidant called sesamin.
Okay, smoke point.
It's sort of middle of the road, around 350 to 410 degrees AR4 or 175 to 210 degrees C. So it's best used for dressings, lower heat cooking, maybe added to stews towards the end for flavor, or just as a finishing oil.
And health-wise.
It does have antioxidant and potential immune-boosting properties. However, because it's quite high in omega-6, it's generally recommended to use it in moderation, just to help maintain that healthy balance of omega-3 to omega-6 fats in your overall diet. Too much omega-6 isn't ideal.
That makes sense. Balance is key. What about sunflower oil? That's a pretty common one, usually pretty affordable too.
Right, but with sunflower oil, you really need to know which type you're getting.
Ooh, there are different types.
Yes. The common type, just labeled sunflower oil, is very high in polyunsaturated omega-6 fatty acids, around 68%.
Okay, so maybe use that sparingly too.
That's the general advice, yeah. Then there's a high oleic type that's been bred to be high in monounsaturated omega-9 fats, about 86%, much more like olive oil. Both contain some vitamin E. The concern with the common type is that a diet too high in omega-6s without enough omega-3s can potentially contribute to inflammation over time.
Right.
The high oleic version, however, is more stable. It has a higher smoke point, around 465 degrees FRO or 240 degrees C, making it better for higher heat cooking.
So you're choosing sunflower oil.
Go for the high oleic variety. It's generally considered the more beneficial option from a health perspective.
Got it. High oleic sunflower oil. Good to remember that. Now, avocado oil. It seems to be everywhere these days. Very trendy.
It really is popular, and for good reason, actually.
So what's the nutritional story there?
Avocado oil definitely lives up to a lot of the hype. It's high in monounsaturated omega-9 fatty acids, around 71%. Pretty good.
Like olive oil again?
Similar profile, yes. And it's also a good source of vitamin E, antioxidant, polyphenols, and something called lutein, which is beneficial for eye health.
Oh, interesting. And smoke point, I hear it's high.
Remarkably high. It's one of the highest, actually, between 490 and 520 degree AR5. That's 255 to 271 degrees C.
Wow.
So it's incredibly versatile. You can use it for pretty much everything, even really high heat cooking like deep frying, searing, roasting, sautéing.
Okay.
And health-wise, it's been linked to helping lower bad cholesterol. It seems to have anti-inflammatory effects, and those antioxidants are a nice added bonus.
Yeah, that really high smoke point is impressive. Makes it super useful. Okay, next up, flaxseed oil. I know that's supposed to be a great source of omega-3s.
It absolutely is. Flaxseed oil is exceptionally high in a specific type of polyunsaturated omega-3 fatty acid called ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, about 53% ALA.
So one of the best plant sources.
Definitely one of the best plant-based sources of omega-3s, yes. However, big however,
Uh-oh.
it has a very, very low smoke point, somewhere between 175 and 225 degrees AFRE, so only about 80 to 107 degrees C.
Okay, so basically don't even think about heating it.
Never heat it, ever. It's strictly for cold applications, salad dressings, adding to yogurt or smoothies after they're blended, or even just taking a spoonful directly.
But the benefits are worth it.
Oh, absolutely. It's fantastic for supporting cardiovascular and brain health, and it has significant anti-inflammatory properties. The main downside, besides not heating it, is that it's very prone to oxidation. It goes rancid easily. So you absolutely have to keep it refrigerated, tightly sealed, and use it relatively quickly, ideally within, say, a month or so after opening the bottle.
Okay, so flaxseed oil is definitely a no-heat, use-it-fast kind of oil. Makes sense.
Right.
What about rice bran oil? I've seen that on the shelves, too.
Rice bran oil is interesting. It has a pretty well-balanced fatty acid profile, about 42% monounsaturated omega-9s and 38% polyunsaturated omega-6s.
No, not too high in omega-6.
Reasonably balanced, yes. It also contains that unique antioxidant I mentioned earlier, gamma-oryzanol, and some vitamin E.
And cooking.
Its smoke point is also quite high, around 490 degrees Escapper or 254 degrees C, making it pretty versatile for all sorts of cooking methods.
Health benefits.
It's been shown in some studies to help lower total cholesterol, raise HDL, the good cholesterol, and may even have benefits for gut health, possibly protecting the gut lining.
Any downsides?
Well, the main one is that it's not a significant source of those really important omega-3 fatty acids.
Good to know. And finally, perilla oil. That's another one I've heard about for getting your omega-3s, maybe similar to flax.
Yes, exactly. Perilla oil really shines when it comes to plant-based omega-3s. It actually contains the highest amount, typically between 55 and 63% ALA.
Even more than flax.
Often, yes. It's similar to flax, but might be slightly more stable, though still delicate.
Smoke point, still low.
It's listed with a higher smoke point sometimes, maybe around 450 degrees air or 232 degrees C. But honestly, heating it is still not recommended because those beneficial omega-3s are fragile and degrade easily with heat.
Okay, so treat it like flaxseed oil.
Pretty much. Best used in dressings, drizzled over food, or consumed directly. It's a top choice for vegetarians and vegans looking to boost their omega-3 intake.
And the benefits are similar to flax.
Very similar. Helps reduce inflammation, supports cardiovascular health, good for brain and vision development. It does have a fairly distinct, sometimes described as minty or grassy aroma.
Okay.
And like flaxseed oil, it's best to keep it refrigerated and use it reasonably quickly.
Okay, wow, this is a lot of information to take in. So if someone has specific health goals in mind, like, say, they really want to support their heart health or reduce inflammation, are there particular oils that really stand out?
Absolutely. We can definitely highlight some key players for specific goals. For supporting cardiovascular health and really focusing on reducing inflammation, oils that are super high in omega-3s, like perilla or flaxseed oil, are excellent choices. Just remember.
Cold use only.
Cold use only, exactly. Now, for both heart health and anti-inflammatory benefits, but with something you can actually cook with a little bit.
Yeah.
Virgin olive oil is fantastic thanks to its monounsaturated fats and those powerful polyphenols. Great for low to medium heat cooking and dressings.
Okay.
And if you need an oil for higher heat cooking that still supports heart health and provides antioxidants...
Bitter tea or avocado?
You got it.
Yeah.
Bitter tea or avocado oil are both really good options. They're high in omega-9s, stable at heat. And avocado oil has that super high smoke point for really high temperatures.
So it sounds like maybe having a variety of oils on hand for different cooking methods and different health benefits might be the smartest approach, rather than just using one for everything.
Exactly right. I often recommend keeping 2 or 3 different types of oil in your kitchen. That way you can cover different cooking needs and nutritional goals.
Like what would be a good combo?
Well, for instance, you could use avocado oil, or maybe that high oleic sunflower oil or bitter tea oil for your high heat stuff like frying or roasting.
Okay.
Then have flax or perilla oil specifically for your salad dressings or adding to smoothies to make sure you get those crucial omega-3s.
Right.
And maybe use a good quality extra virgin olive oil for sautéing at lower temperatures, drizzling over finished dishes, or making vinaigrettes.
That makes sense.
And just a general reminder, it's probably wise not to rely too heavily long-term on oils that are very high in omega-6s, like that common sunflower oil or even black sesame oil used excessively, just to help maintain a healthy inflammatory balance in your body.
Good point. And how much oil should we aim for generally?
A general recommendation is maybe around 2 to 3 tablespoons total per day, depending on your overall diet and activity level. And definitely remember to store those omega-3 rich oils like flax and perilla in the refrigerator. Keep them fresh.
Okay, so when we're at the grocery store, staring at that wall of oil bottles, the key things to think about are the fatty acid profile, omega-3s, 9,6s.
Yep.
What's the antioxidant content, like polyphenols or vitamin E?
Crucial.
What's the smoke point, and how does that match how I plan to cook with it?
Very important.
And finally, what are my personal health goals? Am I focused on heart health, inflammation, just general wellness?
Exactly. You nail it. It's about making informed choices that align with your individual needs and how you like to cook.
Okay, so based on all this amazing information, if you had to pick your, let's say, top 3 oils for overall comprehensive health benefits, considering everything we've talked about, what would they be? Let's have a little oil championship right here.
All right, a championship. Okay, if I had to choose my top 3 medalists for overall health, taking the gold medal, I would definitely have to say extra virgin olive oil.
Gold goes to EVOO. Makes sense. Why number 1?
It's just so well-rounded. It's fantastic for heart protection. Think Mediterranean diet. It has strong anti-inflammatory effects thanks to both the oleic acid, omega-9, and those great polyphenols like oleocanthal. It helps with cholesterol levels, raising the good HDL, lowering the bad LDL. It's packed with antioxidants, and it's so versatile for everyday cooking low to medium heat, plus salads, dressings, finishing dishes.
Okay, a solid gold medalist. Just got to remember to keep the heat moderate for the extra virgin kind.
Exactly. Keep the heat in check for EVOO.
What about silver? Who gets silver?
For the silver medal, I'm actually going to have to give it as a tie between flaxseed oil and perilla oil.
Ah, the omega-3 twins.
Pretty much. They are both such incredibly potent sources of those crucial plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, the ALAs, which are so important for cardiovascular health, have significant anti-inflammatory properties, can help lower cholesterol, and they contain their own sets of antioxidants like lignans in flax.
But the big caveat.
The big caveat, strictly for cold use. No heat, a little drizzle on your salad, stirred into yogurt or a smoothie after blending. That's the way to get their amazing benefits. And store them in the fridge.
Okay, the omega-3 powerhouses take silver and bronze. Who rounds out the podium?
For the bronze medal, I would choose avocado oil.
Okay, why avocado?
Well, it offers great cardiovascular benefits with its high monounsaturated fat content, similar to olive oil. It has shown anti-inflammatory potential in some studies. It can help raise good cholesterol. Plus, it's rich in vitamin E and that eye-healthy antioxidant, lutein.
And the big selling point.
The huge selling point is its versatility for high-heat cooking. That super high smoke point is a major practical advantage in the kitchen.
Good point. Any tips for buying avocado oil?
Yeah, if possible, try to go for cold-pressed, unrefined versions, as they'll retain more of those beneficial antioxidants compared to the refined ones. And just a little side note, for anyone with latex allergies, there might occasionally be a cross-sensitivity to avocado, so just something to be aware of.
Okay, so our top 3. Extra virgin olive oil, gold, flaxseed or perilla oil, silver, cold use only, and avocado oil, bronze, great for heat. That sounds like a really solid lineup.
I think it covers a lot of bases, yeah.
And you even gave some great ideas earlier on how to maybe pair them throughout the day, like maybe some flaxseed oil on your breakfast yogurt.
Yeah.
Olive oil on your lunch salad or veggies.
Perfect.
And then maybe cooking dinner with avocado oil if you need higher heat. That's super helpful and practical advice.
Exactly. Thinking about how to integrate them makes it less overwhelming. And if you're looking for a really balanced everyday approach, simply combining extra virgin olive oil for general use with either flaxseed or perilla oil for that omega-3 boost really covers a lot of your nutritional bases.
Or if you do a lot of different types of cooking.
Right. If you need more heat versatility, then having maybe olive oil and avocado oil as your mainstays, and then just consciously adding flaxseed or perilla oil to make sure you're getting enough omega-3s is a really good strategy too.
This has been incredibly informative. Seriously. I definitely feel like I have a much better handle now on the whole history behind these oils and, more importantly, what's actually inside those bottles and how to choose them.
That's the goal. It's all about giving you, the listener, the knowledge to make the best choices for your own health and your own cooking style.
All right, well, to wrap things up today, we've really taken a deep dive, haven't we?
We certainly have.
We've seen how humans have been using oils for literally thousands of years, starting from basic animal fats and evolving to this amazing variety of plant-based options we have today.
It's quite a journey.
And modern science has really shown a light on the diverse nutritional benefits that each different oil offers, making it pretty clear how important it is to choose the right oil for what you're cooking and what your personal health goals are.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
So as you're thinking about all this, maybe consider your own cooking habits and what you're hoping to achieve with your diet.
Yeah.
Perhaps this deep dive has given you some ideas about trying out some new oils or maybe experimenting with some of those recommended pairings we talked about.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works best for you, what tastes good to you, and enjoying the journey of discovery in your own kitchen.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, we'll bring this deep dive to a close. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.